Hello America, this is Call of Duty Goddess. Today is March 1st, 2016. I have an article here from Freedom Outpost titled Virginia Delegate Receives Standing Ovation for Appeal for Sergeant Charles Martland. He is owed our loyalty. Well, it turns out I did a video on this last year titled U.S. Military Leaders Condoning Sex Slavery. U.S. Soldiers Told to Stand Down and Not Stop Rape. I have the video here. It was based on this article from noisyroom.net titled Afghani Boys Screaming in the Night. U.S. Soldiers Told to Stand Down and Not Stop Rape. It turns out that there's boys getting raped over in Afghanistan. It's a practice called botchabazi. That means boy play, because women are shunned over there and treated like basic dirt and less than humans. The men go to boys for their sexual pleasure and slavery. What happened was these soldiers were told to stand down when they witnessed it. They went through the proper channels, tried to do the right thing. They were told to stand down and not do anything about it. So they ended up beating the crap out of the pervert that did that. So I'll read a little excerpt of this. After righteously beating the crap out of the pervert, Captain Quinn was relieved of command and removed from Afghanistan. He has since left the military. Now, 4 years later, the military is trying to get rid of Sergeant First Class Charles Martland, a Special Forces member who assisted in beating up the Afghani commander. They are trying to force him to retire even though he is a decorated hero. A new policy of getting rid of soldiers with infractions is being called upon to justify pushing Martland out. The Army is contending that Martland had a duty to look the other way. Those men should have been commended for what they did. Instead, they are being punished, and the child-raping commander was promoted. The Army is weaseling out and saying they can't comment because of the Privacy Act. So that was what I did that video on. And I showed some excerpts of the dancing boys in Afghanistan. I also took this video because it was not on YouTube, and I uploaded this Dancing Boys of Afghanistan to my YouTube account. I then got a strike on me because of it. So I'm going to leave a link for this Dancing Boys of Afghanistan if you can stomach it. It is an education, and it is what our military over there is witnessing and forced to close their eyes to. I'll let you see a little bit of what this botchabazi is.
بالا این بود با جانش کاغذ با دست لبانش با جانی بچه زند قطی کالای کتانش نشان به جایزه بشناس ما خواهیته کباب بریان کدی بچه ملنگایته
I'm going to stop it right there because it just pisses me off. I'll leave the link for this if you can stomach watching it. Anyway, like I said, they buy these kids from their parents or they abduct them, and they are basically slaves. So let's go get some good news and hopefully hear a standing ovation about how someone is going to save this man his job and help save our nation. Let's watch this.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I'd like to tell you all a little bit about a fellow, I guess I shouldn't say veteran because he's still on active duty, but his name is Sergeant First Class Charles Martland. And Sergeant First Class Martland is an active duty soldier right now that I think needs the help of pretty much all Americans, but especially the people in this body that have some influence with respect to the process by which he is currently being considered for discharge. Sergeant First Class Martland served in the same battalion I did in 3rd Battalion, 1st Special Forces Group. He did multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. And the reason why he is going to be discharged at this point was because 4 years ago in Afghanistan, a small boy came up to him and pleaded to him for help along with his mother. This small boy had been tied to a post and brutalized repeatedly for days by an Afghan police officer. And so Sergeant First Class Martland approached this individual with his commanding officer, along with the child and the mother. They laughed off the accusation. They laughed at him. They laughed at this child that had been, again, tied to a post and brutally raped for days. So Sergeant First Class Martland, upon seeing this reaction for the officer, proceeded to punish him for it. He beat him. He beat him, and that in the eyes of the current powers that be within the United States military and the administration is reason for him to be drummed out of the military. Ladies and gentlemen, the motto of U.S. Army Special Forces Green Berets is De Oppresso Liber, to free the oppressed. Regardless of where they come from, regardless of their nationality, their religious convictions, it's to free the oppressed. And you need to understand something about the way Green Berets operate. At 2 combat tours in Iraq, I spent more time with the indigenous population than I did with Americans. We build relationships. We build trust. It gets to a point where you're not just over there fighting for our Constitution and fighting for our citizens. You're fighting for the people in that neighborhood that you have built this relationship with. They are your family as well. And I will tell you, as many of the people in this room who are combat veterans can probably attest, and many people in law enforcement as well, you do not truly appreciate evil when you look at it. You appreciate what it is when it looks back. And the question that every service member has to come into contact with when that episode happens is, what are you going to do about it? And Sergeant First Class Martland confronted evil. He punished it. He demonstrated to evil, and he demonstrated to that boy and his mother that someone was going to be willing to stand up for them. Somebody was going to be willing to face the consequences that could have arisen from this and defend this boy when nobody else would. And our response now as a country and a military is going to be to drum him out? Maybe there are some that feel that what he did was excessive. I personally do not. But I will tell you this, we should be very, very careful at the message that we send to the men and women that we expect to go overseas and put their bodies, themselves, in harm's way, to stand in between the innocent and those who would exploit and destroy them. Because when you have signified to them that you will not have their back as soon as it becomes politically inconvenient, that as soon as it may look bad in the press, you're going to abandon them, don't expect a military that is going to continue to go over there and put everything on the line, give up all of their tomorrows, miss anniversaries, birthdays, Christmases, Thanksgiving, away from their families, from their women, from their wives, from their children, from their husbands. He is owed our loyalty. He demonstrated it to us year after year. And quite frankly, I think it demonstrates something to be proud of when a small child in a foreign country that doesn't speak the same language, that barely knows this person, is willing to come up to him and sees that flag on his shoulder as a symbol of someone that he can go to for protection. And now we've just told not only the people that perpetrated this atrocity against this small boy, we've told the small boy too, don't count on it, because we'll punish them if they do so. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be defended by a military that when they are confronted with evil like that, their response is not fear, it's not equivocation, it is to confront it with violence if necessary. I think Sergeant First Class Martland deserves our support. He is currently right now undergoing his second appeal. As far as any influence that you have with congressional delegations within the Department of the Army, I would encourage you to please stand by this man. He has stood by us, and he has stood by the people of Afghanistan. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those people that didn't applaud should be ashamed of themselves. Now, are you asking yourself right now, how could this happen in America? Well, let me answer that for you, folks. Let me answer that.
And the problem is the penetration by the Muslim Brotherhood that has gone on for years, but it is greatly accelerated under the Obama administration in penetrating all our national security agencies, including the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They have carte blanche entree into the White House. They have, in fact, become a defective cabinet member. And what you have to understand, the Muslim Brotherhood creed is to destroy the United States from within and replace our Constitution with Sharia law. You have to ask yourself, why would this president embrace the Muslim Brotherhood?
This is Call of Duty Goddess, signing off. And as always, I'll leave the links below, and I've got your 6.